Yoto is made the successor of track and field. Club captain Kushi after he mistakes his consistent squats as a dedication to the squad. In truth, he only does squats so he can spy on the girls' gym class next door. Unable to refuse due to an unhealthy facade he has set up, he reluctantly agrees. Yoko Yokadera is a perverted schoolboy who is unable to express his true feelings freely. One day, whenever he and his nearest friend returned from school, Yoto said to his friend that he wanted to be able to fantasize about girls all day, every day, and he wants to be surrounded by girls for the rest of his life. So Ponto gives him 18 plus things to enjoy his earthly desire for 100 yen. Then, Yoto screams that he is in the way of an adult. Ponto, his friend, suggests he can make a wish to the stone cat on a nearby hill. He explains that the cat is said to take something away from you and give it to someone else in need. After hearing about the wish-granting Stony cat, he decides to try and make an offering to lose his facade, only to meet Susiko, who wishes instead to be more discreet with her feelings to become more adult-like. Yoko goes there at night, his hugging pillow where he found a girl named Suki. However, he runs after a girl Suki who has also gone up the hill to make a wish after a brief chase. Yoko clears up the misunderstanding after pinning her down and the two make their wish. Yoko wishes to have his facade removed, while Suki wants to be more in control of her feelings. The next day, Yoko finds that he's unable to control the words that come out of his mouth when he sees Azuki, the school beauty, ruthlessly turned down another suitor. He inadvertently calls her flat-chested, earning him the reputation of a school pervert. Later that day, he runs into Suki again, who is now unable to show her emotions, finding it troublesome. They tried to return their traits from the Stony cat, but Yoko suspects that since they wish their undesirable traits away, then they have to wait until the person who received their traits wishes them away. The two agreed to cooperate to find those who received their traits. Later, Yoko was lying unconscious in the bed. After regaining consciousness, he finds Suki at his bedside. Suki wants to know, how did this situation happen? Yoko then revealed that it was the result of her commenting on the captain's boobs. Azuki, who is sleeping in the next bed and says, "Will you speak a little more slowly?" then sees Yoko and calls Yoko a pervert. Yoko tells Azuki that her unbuttoned shirt and short skirt are making him horny, forcing him to come to her. Suki excused herself and said in the middle of the conversation, "What relationship do you have?" Overhearing Yoko and Azuki's conversation, Suki thinks they are having a relationship, so she feels bad and starts kicking. Yoko assures Suki that there is no relationship between them. He only had to do leg pull. Later, they both discovered that Azuki could not give her expression properly when she saw Suki. Yoko also reveals that the choker around Azuki's neck is the neck belt that was once on his body pillow. He races to her and delivers a surprise confession, even lowering himself to that of a doc, and Azuki is unable to refuse. Everyone cheers for the defeat of the school queen, while Suki calls him a pervert from afar. Yoko dedicates himself to being Azuki's dog, much to her chagrin. One day he and Suki go to the next town over to discuss their next move. However, they run into Azuki. After reaching there, they were surprised to see Azuki as a waitress at Animal Cafe. Suki asked Yoko, did he know about this? Yoko said it was nothing but a coincidence. While leaving Animal Cafe, it was raining and they stopped at a nearby hotel. Standing down at the hotel, Yoko thinks Suki wants to spend time with him at the hotel, but he soon realizes his mistake. When they see Azuki leave the cafe, they try to follow her, but the hotel clerk angrily chases them away. They fled away and rested on a bridge where Suki confides in her shyness around boys, which has been fixed, and she thanks the stone cat. One thing she's thankful for fearing that they lost. While running, Suki again spots her working another part-time job as a construction worker. The next day, Yoko confronted Azuki with this information, and she assumes that he means to spread it around the school. To surprise her, he invites her out on a date this Saturday, and she bashfully agrees. Suki overhears them and insists on coming along that weekend. Yoko drags Azuki to the wedding store and then to a gynecologist to teach her the choice of being a commoner, which he thinks will sufficiently teach her to abandon her facade. However, he just gets beaten up instead. Suzuki arrives and the trio goes to a nearby arcade where they surprisingly get along. When Azuki goes to the restroom, Yoko and Suki encountered Kushi and Yoko learns that they're sisters. Fearing Kushi's wrath, Yoko intentionally touches her boobs and drags Suki to escape. After going some distance, Suki stands and says they left Azuki behind. When they return, they see her being bullied by two of her old classmates for not having any friends. Azuki tearfully accuses Yoko of plotting to embarrass and mock her, and she storms out, telling him not to talk to her anymore. Both Yoko and Suki separately try to visit Azuki, but she refuses to speak to them. When Yoko wonders what he should do so that she encourages him to simply speak his mind. Azuki was crying alone in a room, and Yoko is trying hard to talk to Azuki, but Azuki doesn't want to talk, tells him to leave. She wants to be alone. The next day, wanting to know the reason for bullying Azuki, Yoko talks to the two girls and learns that they actually love Azuki and make fun of her. They were together in middle school and also found out that they tricked her into going to Hokkaido for a school trip when it was actually in Okinawa, an event that caused her to transfer schools. Azuki tells Yoko that she wants to go on summer vacation with him alone in Okinawa, which Suki overhears. Later, when Yoko came to Suki, Suki says that she knows about their summer vacation plan. Then, Yoko says that Azuki seems to be forgiving him and that all of this is possible for Suki, which he is grateful for that, and he owes her one. Suki asks Yoko to pay off the debt by taking her on a date. Later, she congratulates him on getting his facade back. Suki tells Yoko to give her some time if he wants to pay off the debt. Suki says she was a member of the youth service club in middle school. For now, she asks him to give an opinion on a picture book story she wrote, and although her performance remains flat, he praises her illustrations. In a flashback, it's revealed that Suki indeed has her mask and asks Yoko if he would still recognize her without one when she transfers to his school in the following year. But Yoko didn't remember anything. Later, Yoko expressed interest in knowing the reason for such a relationship between Suki and her sister. Suki says that her sister hates her. The next day, Yoko goes to Kushi, who's still angry at him for going on a date with her little sister. Yoko lies and says that it was his younger twin brother, not him. A lie. She somehow believes when he asks if her relationship with Suki is poor. She denies it. Then he points out that Suki gave up her emotions to the Stony cat, but she refuses to believe it. After all, it was she who made the Stony cat. The next day, he and Suki go out to a cosplay shop, where she hopes to pick out a costume to better connect with the children. When they return to Suki's home, they find that Kushi is waiting for them. She confronts him, believing him to be Yoko's younger brother. He is surprised to learn that she means to sever the sisterly bonds between her and Suki, and when he protests her selfishness, she knocks him out. He awakens to find Suki watching over him. He asks Suki, did she hear the conversation between her and her sister? He said Suki's sister wants to end the sister's relationship with him, and she will destroy the Stony cat. Suki says that Stony cat is hers. She can do whatever she wants, and there is no one to stop her. Suki then asks Yoko, what is their relationship? Yoko says they are partners in crime and he's trying to help her get her emotions back. She remarks that it would be better if she did not get it back at all. The next day, Azuki helps him to retrieve Kushi's graduation plans. Later, Kushi arrives to meet Yoko at the Stony cat. There, he wishes for the strength not to run away, and the Stony cat claims his underwear. After a brief fight over the right to be Suki's older sibling, Suki appears, forcing the two to apologize for embarrassing her upon revealing Kushi's plan to go abroad to study in Massachusetts. They are exasperated to learn that she only planned to go there because they legitimized same-sex marriage. She wanted to marry her younger sister. When Suki points out that they can't get married because they're sibling, Kushi is devastated. Kushi demands the Stony cat return Suki's emotions, which it does in the form of a meat bun. Suki offers it to her older sister and she eats it happily. The summer soon ends without them reclaiming Suki's emotions, and Yoko remarks that she's been acting colder as of late, and she is keeping her distance from him. One day, while walking home, Yoko is shocked to see his entire house is gone. Azuki is in Okinawa with her two former friends Mori and Maria to make up for tricking her all those years ago. However, she is incensed when Yoko refuses to contact her, which worries her friends. Meanwhile, Yoko manages to contact Suki, with his house still gone. When it starts to rain, she invites him to stay the night at her house, and an elated Yoko accepts. She tells him to take a bath, although he assumes that she will barge in at any minute. Yoko exits the bath upon hearing a commotion, only to find Kushi having lost his sense of shame to the Stony cat. Yoki is oblivious to the embarrassment he is putting Kushi through, which ends up in him being beaten and tied up in a futon. He's exasperated to learn that she still believes in his younger twin brother's story. Kushi later falls asleep, giving him time to slip away. He overhears her experience of a nightmare in her sleep, begging not to be left alone. Yoko accidentally sees Suki naked after appearing in the changing room. When he turns to see Kushi ready to murder him, and he runs for his life, entering a storage shed. He's shocked to see that it's filled with his house belongings, alongside a second massive stone cat. Suki discovers Yoko in her shed, and upon seeing his collection of DVDs, she scratches them one by one. The next day, he asks Kushi about the giant stone cat's origin, and she explains that their family worshipped cat gods, with the statue said to bring prosperity at the cost of a short life. Later, she's satisfied to learn that he and Yoko are on the same page regarding Suki's cuteness. She then threatens to kill his younger twin brother, but she manages to dissuade her, suggesting that they break his relationship with Suki instead. That night, Yoko finally answers a call from Azuki, who is irritated when she learns he does not miss her at all. However, when he wishes to see Azuki's bikini, she is suddenly summoned over to the shed. After explaining the situation, the two realize that the cat statue responds to their wishes. Azuki tests it out by wishing for Yoko to play with her belly button, but she is unable to deal with the stimulation and takes back her wish. Yoko finds Suki in a good mood after hearing him sing praises of her. The four later have dinner together and Kushi attempts to seduce Yoko, but Azuki tries to fight for his affection. That night, Kushi sneaks into Yoko's bed, but he refuses her advances, telling her to value herself more. However, Kushi fears that Suki will be taken away from her, and she wishes that such a world would be shattered. Suddenly, the shed is destroyed as the giant cat grants her wish. What'll be the result of Yoku, Suki, and Azuki's relationship? Let's see what happened in the next part. Until next time, do take care and stay safe.